Listen, y'all, you are doing way better than somebody thought you would. All right? You're not an idiot. You're definitely not an idiot. And someone has you on their radar. All right? They have been watching you or have been watching what you are doing, and they could be trying to figure out your secret sauce of some sort, or how you're gaining some sort of success, or how you're not devastated about something, or how some sort of tactics that they were trying to use against you to fuck up a good thing that you had going on, how they're not working. It's not working. All right? You're doing really, 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 really well. And your actions are speaking much louder than your words. All right? So for some of you all, you're staying out of some sort of drama, or you're not getting involved in some sort of drama that somebody tried to bring to you or try to get you caught up in. All right? You're focused on yourself. You've been doing what you can. You're doing the best with the time, the energy that you have, and you're doing really well with what you have. You're making the best out of what you have. All right? You may not have been given, the greatest card hand, so to say, or, maybe you just aren't as wealthy as the next individual, or something like that. Maybe you don't have a whole team working for you or something, but whatever you're doing is catching the attention of some individuals, all right? Or has caught the attention of an individual who you could have stopped dealing with, or you could have moved on from. All right? They are recognizing that if you started to do a lot better without them, they recognize this, they see this, okay? Others of you, you have other people who are watching you, or who see that you have gotten better at something, or they see something that you're talking about, or something that you could have been sharing recently. Some of you all have found out something, okay, and you could have exposed that recently or told people about it, something like that. But you're doing extremely well with the cards that you've been dealt, so to say, okay? Some of you all have been able, or you've been focused on building a better community for yourself, or being around those who are either like-minded, or who at the very least are able to understand you, or able to listen to things and see things from your perspective, even if they may not readily agree with them. And it looks like you've gained the respect of someone because you're not like getting caught up in some sort of people-pleasing tendencies of some sort. You definitely have a mind of your own. You're able to think for yourself. You're able to move how you want to move and do what you want to do. And you're not the type of individual that is like a pick-me, so to say. And somebody finds that to be very valuable, or they really like that about you. All right? I see that you're being real careful about where you're putting your time, effort, and energy, and who you're choosing to involve yourself with, and what you see as valuable, worthy, or worth investing more in. And for some of y'all, there's, like I said, there's an individual who has watched what you've been doing, or knows about what you're doing or what's going on, and they feel like you're not an idiot. They think you're really intelligent, or they like the moves that you're making, or they could be recognizing or realizing that you're not what you may have seemed to be, okay? Because it could have been something that you were doing previously or before that may have made it look like you were maybe a pick-me, or that you were willing to give up some sort of morals or values of yours to be liked or accepted or something like that, okay? But you're not like that, and they really like that about you, okay? Yeah, it looks like you're building a strong community of some sort. So these could be individuals who are friends, co-workers, loved ones, something of that sort. And it looks like you all are getting along very well. Things are going really well for you, especially because of some sort of changes that you made recently. All right. And this is one of the reasons why someone is really surprised about this. They're surprised that you're doing so well, that you're doing so good, that you're not succumbing to something that they could have hoped that you would succumb to, or something that they thought that you would be devastated by. All right. For some of you all, somebody could have left you. They could have tried to play mind games with you or something like that, and then try to leave you because they didn't like something that you were doing, or they couldn't control you, or something of that sort. But whatever it was, they're recognizing or realizing that you're not an idiot, that you're actually doing much better with whatever you chose to do, or whatever you're doing now, or with whatever situation you're in now. All right. So you're definitely not an idiot. Something has been really motivating you and really inspiring you. And this is very powerful, and it has a lot to do with the divine and the universe to keep you focused, to keep you dedicated, and to keep you on the path that you're meant to be on. Okay? Some of you all could have had a very valuable conversation with someone recently that helped you to see things from a different perspective, or that could have inspired you, that could have motivated you, and could have helped you see the truth about something. Okay? And maybe have made you feel more confident in a decision or a choice that you needed to make, or that you were going to make, or that you had made. All right. People see you. For some of you all, those who really value you, they think that you're a really, really good friend. They really love you. They love how you show up for them, or how they're able to trust you, or maybe they just really love their relationship with you. They really love you, for some of y'all, okay? And if you were worried that they wouldn't be able to understand, if maybe, because for some of y'all, you may have had to take some time to yourself to focus on yourself, or to maybe you were doing some sort of research, or some sort of something that you were doing. Maybe you just, you whatever you were doing, okay? You were doing something, and you may have had to take time away from friends, or away from a situation of some sort, or you may be pouring more into yourself. You could have been wondering if they would be okay with it, or if they would get upset with you. They're not, all right? They're actually really happy that you're focusing on yourself, that you're doing something to better yourself, or to improve your situation somehow, all right? So it looks like if you've met new friends, or these are old friends, and you made a situation better, or something like that, it's going really well for you. Some of you are really becoming more comfortable with doing what the fuck you want to do, how you want to do it, saying what you want to say, how you want to say it, etc., etc. And this could be really, this could be disturbing to some people, because they're not used to that, or they want you to be a certain way that you're not, or they have some weird ass expectations of who you are, what you are, or how you are, okay? But they're recognizing that you're not an idiot, okay? Somebody's recognizing that you're not an idiot. So they could have tried to pull some sort of trickery or funny shit with you, and they're recognizing that you're not an idiot, okay? We're gonna look I want to see more about this. You're not an idiot. Let's see. Okay. This could have something to do with some sort of knowledge or wisdom that you have. Someone could have tried to test your skills, your knowledge, or your wisdom, or they could have prematurely or had some sort of prejudice against you, which was unwarranted. Okay, and they're recognizing that you're not an idiot. You're actually a lot smarter than they may be, or definitely than they thought that you were, okay? And you're becoming much better than somebody thought that you would. Somebody could have tried to convince you not to do something that was actually very beneficial for you, or they could have been trying to mess with your confidence about some sort of choice or decision that you made. Don't let that get to you if that's what happened, or you didn't let it get to you. All right, you already know that people are like that, or that they're going to do stuff like that when they feel like they can't control you, or they feel like you're getting beyond their expectations, or they can't predict what you're going to do, or they want to keep you in a little pretty box, or whatever the fuck. then they act funny like that. So you already know you were able to adjust accordingly to the situation. It did not get you down, okay? Because some of you all could have dealt with whatever these changes that you made recently, or these new choices or decisions that you have been making, or these new people that you've been around, or old people you've come back into contact with, or something like that. You're just doing things that some people may not like, but it has nothing to do with you. It's because they want you to be a certain way instead of accepting you the way that you are. So they're the ones that needs to get with the program, not you. All right. Some of them, because maybe some of you all started to express more of your knowledge and your wisdom or your intelligence, so to say. It may make some insecure. They don't like that. So they want you to get back in this little fucking box that they thought that you were in. All right. They don't want you to express how much you know or how much you can, you know what I'm saying? Because it makes them feel insecure for some reason or another. Or that's why you're not dealing with individuals, a certain group of individuals, or why you moved on from a situation. Maybe because you, like, they would feel insecure when you would express how much you know or how you are or what you're about or something like that, y'all. That's fucking weird, okay? But it's actually kind of not so weird, but it is weird at the same time. Yeah. So you're really good at socializing with others for the most part. Many of y'all, especially if they're on the same level as you. Yeah. So you're working, you're doing what you need to do to not fuck up a situation of some sort, because you got good things going on, or somebody cannot fuck up a good thing that you got going on. They can't. Okay? Yeah. So you're making the best of what you have. You're doing what you need to do to stay in a good situation of some sort. Yeah, not liked sometimes. That's wild. I literally just, wow, that's wild. Okay, but there are others who absolutely love you. They feel like you're refreshing. They like your vibes. They like your attitude. They like your how you are, the way you think, how you move, etc., right? Yeah. So you're definitely making the best of what you have, even if, like I said, you may not have been dealt the greatest cards, right? You're still doing great. And this is why certain individuals are like, how the fuck is this happening? How are they doing this? What are they doing? So just expect, okay, that they might start to say things like, oh, they sold their soul. Oh, they're doing this and this and that. Oh, blah, 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 because they can't deal with the fact that you just leveled up genuinely, because you're doing what you need to do to make the best out of your situation, and in turn it's actually becoming very successful for you. All right. For others of you, if you don't feel like you're that successful, or you don't feel like you're doing that well, many of you all are at the very least making the right choices and the right decisions to get to a point to where you can become more successful. All right. Things like not doubting your ability to do better or be better. Things like limiting your time and limiting the amount of time that you spend with others who don't want much in their life, or who aren't really going anywhere in life, you know, or who are constantly negative and complaining and things of that sort, or who refuse to take responsibility for their own actions and the things that they cause and the things that they fuck up. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So you have become more comfortable with not being liked, some of y'all, because you know, like, if they don't like you, most likely it's not you, it's something with them. But even if it was you, it doesn't mean it's something wrong with you per se. It's just that you're not for them, or that's not your type, or they're not, you know what I mean? Like, they're not meant to be in your I don't know why I was about to say rotation, okay? But they're not meant to be in your circle, okay? Or part of, like, what you got going on. You know, maybe before you used to, like, try to make everybody happy, so to say. You may have used to try to be what everybody wanted you to be, or something like that. And not in a sense of, I don't want to necessarily say pick me, but that's the word that, like, you know, and maybe it's not your fault as to why you used to be that way, because maybe you were raised to be like that, some of y'all, you know, but you recognize that that's not good for you, or it wasn't helping you, you know. And so you started making different choices and decisions that have helped you to level up, that have helped you improve your life tremendously. You're protecting your goodies. You're protecting your goodies. The song, y'all, that I just thought about right now is that song by is it Sierra? My goodies, not my goodies. She used to, man, she was just getting it in during that time period. All right, so that song could be significant somehow. All right. She's really confident too. She's a really confident female, and she's like really artistically talented and gifted, right? And so for some of you all, you decided to stop, or you're not giving up parts of yourself that you feel like people don't deserve, or that they didn't earn, right? And you're getting much better at saying no to people who don't deserve yeses. You've been speaking more honestly, more openly recently, so you could care less if somebody gets essentially like pissed off about what you're saying, because you're not saying anything that's wrong. You're just saying stuff they don't want to hear. And so some of y'all, that could be why you decided to move into a new situation, or maybe why you decided to stay to yourself for a while, because you don't like the fact that you can't tell the truth around certain people because they can't deal with their own emotions and feelings and reactions to the truth that you're speaking, right? And some of them actually think that they're speaking truth and they're not. Like I said, some of them don't like to admit when they're wrong. They like to blame others for the choices and the decisions that aren't going well for them. So yeah, so you could have decided to like move on from those types of situations, or you're just not wasting your time, effort, and energy with that. And you're making the proper choices and decisions that you need, that tells the universe what it is that you want more of. Because if you're constantly being a pick-me for people, constantly bending over backwards for people, constantly putting yourself last, what the fuck do you think you're telling the universe? What do you think you're telling the universe to give you more of? People that treat you like shit, people who don't value your morality and your worth, people who just want nothing but such and such with you, people who, you know what I'm saying? Like, so some of y'all are becoming much better at communicating with the universe. Your actions are speaking much louder than your words are, because you know that in order to get the universe to manifest what it is that you want, you need to actively communicate with it, not just with words, but with your actions and your behaviors. If you're allowing people to treat you like shit, the universe is going to bring you more people that treat you like shit, because it thinks that that's what you want. Okay? You get it? That's a little key for y'all, a little tidbit. Okay? So, some of y'all, for those who haven't recognized that yet, or realized that yet, you know, because there's a lot of people that question and wonder, why do they always, and that's another thing, if they saying stuff to themselves like they always have bad people, they always attract people who do them wrong and do them bad. Well, if you say that, what do you think you're telling the universe? To keep, you know, like, but some people, so I'm also sensing like, yeah. You could be studying manifestation techniques, or you could be studying the occult, spiritual knowledge or wisdom, ancient practices, or maybe you're putting into practice some of the things that you've learned, or you've been doing that. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Some of you all went from seeing yourself as limited to like being really powerful. You're recognizing all the ways you may have unknowingly limited yourself in the past just by simple beliefs or perspectives of things. Man, y'all are really becoming a force to be reckoned with, right? Wow. You have a mind of your own. You're not abusing your power. Wow. So some of y'all could have recognized or realized some sort of power or abilities that you have, and you're doing the right thing with them. Some of y'all could have been dealing with an individual before that was abusing their power. Like maybe you gave them leadership, or maybe you were following them, or maybe you were believing in them or something like that, and they tried to trick you, or they abused their power. Okay? Or you recognize that somebody that you could have supported in the past was abusing their power. Okay, they're not really who they say they are, or they're not being honest or truthful or genuine or something like that. They could have been trying to use monitoring spirits to what? Monitoring spirits to try to like track you, or to figure out like what's your next move, or who you're with, what you're doing. Some of y'all, they were trying to do it to try to fuck up something. Others of you, like I said, they were trying to figure out your secret sauce of some sort, like how you're becoming so successful. What have you changed? Who are you involved with? Who are you talking to? Who are you with? Like, get the fuck on. The hell? Wow. Yeah. So I see that you've been really, what's the word? It's not dedicated, but you've really not allowed yourself to make excuses for yourself, right? You're doing what you need to do, even when you may not want to do it. And that's so that you can continue to have a good life, or to continue to bring in good things for yourself. Yeah, so some of you all could have been doing some sort of energy work, okay? So you're like doing some sort of spiritual work on yourself. Some of y'all, to help get rid of like bad habits, negative thinking, or to know, you know, when you need to move on, when you need to, you know, do something different, stuff like that. Getting rid of like limiting beliefs, so on and so forth. You're able to see when you don't need to be in certain situations or around certain people, where maybe before you weren't able to recognize that as clearly. Okay? Or some of y'all, that's what somebody could have been trying to do, is like work some sort of bullshit to try to like confuse people, so they wouldn't know who's really for them, or so they wouldn't be able to see that somebody is not a good like, it's almost like somebody tried to do something to make somebody look like they were like them, but they're not. They weren't. So it'd be like somebody who's really horrible or evil trying to make somebody else look like they are horrible or evil, because that individual, they can't control that individual, or they can't get them to do what they want them to do, or they can't compromise them. So it's almost like they try to find a way to make people doubt the integrity of someone. Now, some of y'all, that could be somebody that you're dealing with that they did that to, or somebody that you know of, or they could have tried to do that to you. Or they could have lied to you and told you that, like, could have tried to make you be afraid of doing something, but you didn't need to have no fear about something. You chose yourself, or you chose to think about things the way that you wanted to think about things, For some of y'all, somebody let their, like, they limit themselves unnecessarily. And you're just not, like, you have freed yourself from some sort of, like, thinking that's not beneficial. And so it's like you tried to make a situation work or try to deal with something as long as you could, but it's obvious that it's time for you to move on. All right? You do have divine protection of some sort, especially because you moved on from something or moved out of a situation. Wow, unexpected, benevolently awesome things. See? So maybe, okay, communication is a big factor in the relationship. All right? So you have the ability to admit when you don't know something or when you're wrong. You could have been dealing with individuals who have a hard time admitting when they're wrong. That's why they continue to do, like, stuff that's not good, or why they may self-sabotage themselves at times. And so you were able to admit that a relationship or a union or something like that was not right for you in the past, and you moved on from it. Or something that you were doing, like wanting validation from another individual or something like that, it wasn't worth it. Or you don't need to do all that. Yeah, that's what it is for a lot of y'all. You don't need to do all that. Like, you're good as is, or you had it in you all along, or something like that. You're recognizing that you're actually much better at something than you may have thought that you were, or than somebody else thought that you were. Okay? Wow. Wow. So you might be able to tap into, like, other dimensional realms of existence. Or you notice that recently, now that you've started practicing these different things, or looking at yourself, you know, in a more empowered way, or something, like, y'all, it's almost like because you got up from around a situation or people, or saw the truth of something, it unlocked your ability to see the truth of something else, which then gave you some sort of power. Yeah. So you could be realizing that somebody actually really cares about you, or maybe you're recognizing that somebody that you really care about, they care about you too. And this could be something new to you, or you haven't dealt with that in a while, because maybe in the past you dealt with a lot of people who did not value you, or who did not appreciate you, or did not see your worth, or something like that. Or they acted like they cared, but they really didn't. So this could be, like, refreshing to you, or refreshing feeling, like, wow, you know, finally you get that again, or, you know, something like that. Yeah, somebody feels like you really care about them, and that makes them really happy. Maybe they do things to show you that they really care, or you do things to show them that you really care. Yeah, somebody is really trying to y'all, that's diabolical. This somebody really tried to make somebody look like they were, like, a nasty, disgusting, evil person, and they're not. And it's because they couldn't. They might have even tried to blackmail that individual, but they couldn't. They couldn't get anything on them, or they didn't do anything wrong. Or you didn't do anything wrong. Somebody could have been trying to set something up in hopes that you would fall into a trap of some sort, but you didn't do what they thought that you would do. And so that's why they're like, wow, they're not an idiot. Or they're actually really intelligent, or they're actually really smart, because you didn't fall into something, or you're not an idiot. Okay? Yeah, so I see that you're Making sure that you live up to your true potential, doing the best you can with what you have, when you can, right? You have really good goals, really big, like something that really keeps you motivated and excited. And maybe many of you, this is the first time in a while that you've started to wake up excited and happy, looking forward to the day. You know, you don't wake up dreading or thinking like, you know, oh, you gotta go do this. Not like, you're excited to get up and work. You're excited to get up and clean. You're excited to get up and work on the things that make you happy. You're excited to like fulfill your goals, or, you know, and some of you all, even if things like you had a lot of hard work that you had to do, it doesn't feel as hard anymore. It's like something like you definitely started looking at something from a different perspective, or you incorporated some sort of new practices, beliefs, or something into your life that have been extremely valuable for you. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with not giving a fuck what the people that don't like you think about you, because you know that you're not doing something wrong. And it's not narcissism, it's not egotistical, it's not that. It's just the facts of the situation, you know? Happy to have you in their life. So somebody's really happy to have you in their life, okay? They could be happy that they feel like they can trust you, or that they can rely on you, or something like that. Or they're happy that you're able to see the truth of something. Yeah. So you're not like suffering from overthinking. You're not maybe in another situation, they would have you like second guessing yourself, or doubting your abilities, or what you're bringing into a situation, or something like that. And you're just not doing that anymore, because you know your worth, you know your value, or you know what you need to do to unleash that true potential that you have. And I'm really, really happy for y'all. So with that being said, y'all, keep up the beautiful work. Y'all are doing great. All right. They're mad, baby, but it's okay. Let them stay mad. You keep doing great. All right. You're not the idiot or the dummy that somebody thought that you were, y'all. And you're really making power moves. So yeah, they want to talk mess. Let them talk mess. You know, you don't really need to worry about it like that, unless, you know, they're doing something that's against the law, so to say, you know? So yeah, continue to have your own mind, think for yourself, you know, continue to build this beautiful community that you're building, okay, or making it stronger. Yeah, try to make sure that your communication with someone, be real particular about the things that you say and how you say them, but don't overthink things too much, right? But you know, you want to be intelligent and wise about how you say certain things, because there are, for some of y'all, individuals that could be trying to use your words against you, or use the things that you say against you. They're not successful. They have not been successful at this. Okay, so that could also be part of this this trap they were trying to get you to set yourself into, or something. You're not self-sabotaging, y'all, and that's one of the reasons why you're doing way better than an individual thought you would, or that you thought you would. All right, don't fuck this up, y'all. You're doing good, okay? You're doing great. You're doing great. Also, try not to overload yourself too much, okay? If you need to get some rest when you need to, you know? But also, don't procrastinate, and don't make a habit out of procrastinating. For some reason, that is really important during this time period, all right, y'all? Now, with that being said, I will see y'all in the next reading.